MRS Physical Therapy, Circle of Friends, J&J Spratt Funeral Home, and Rome Monument and Inspirational Gifts. Sounds of Faith, uplifting, relaxing, and inspiring radio. Sunday mornings from 7 until 9 on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with WBVP, WMVA, and BeaverCountyRadio.com.
Navigating healthcare can be overwhelming. Heritage Valley is changing that perspective. Our medical neighborhoods provide the personal care you need right where you live and work. Access specialty physicians, lab and diagnostic imaging, rehab, and more in the heart of your community. With 7 convenient locations, we have a medical neighborhood in yours. Heritage Valley, uniquely connected for life.
Now, it's time to talk on Teleforum on Beaver County Radio. 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, 99.3 FM, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. And now, here is the host of the show, Eddie Crow.
And welcome to Teleforum. Larry Ferrario in for Eddie Crow. Today it's Ask the Commissioners time. We've got all 3 commissioners in studio today. Is that a response to Eddie being off or a response to me, myself being here?
It's in honor of Eddie being on vacation, all 3 of us.
So we have Jack Manning. Welcome, Jack. Tony Amadeo. Welcome, Tony.
Good to see you.
And Dan Camp. Welcome.
Thank you.
So nice to have all of you gentlemen in studio today. I'm sure, I don't know if callers have anything they want to call in and ask you. They'll have the opportunity at 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888. I'm sure the topic du jour are the reassessments. Mm-hmm. So how's that going? What kind of response have you been getting from the public other than the obligatory, I can't believe it's this high, this is ridiculous?
Those are my words.
And those are my that's coming from
words.
Tony.
Yeah. My understanding, we're up past 5,400 and counting.
57 as of
wow.
Still counting.
That I have. And still counting a few.
But
which is
people's right to appeal.
Right.
And when we first talked, they said people asked us, what can we do? And I said, you can do 3 things: appeal, and appeal. I mean,
or just pay it.
We fought this all the way up to the state Supreme Court.
Wow.
And I was the original board member before Dan and Sandy came on, actually. It was at 2015 when we originally got sued. So we were, it's been delayed all these years because we fought it in court.
So the last assessment was 1985?
No,
82?
82
okay.
for 83.
So is this something that was necessary to be done, or should they have been doing it all along instead of...
What I've been articulating about the state legislature,
mm-hmm.
they need to take the bull by the horns and do something here,
right.
To make this like other states. Ohio, they do it every so many years. Maryland does it every so many years. They put it on the burden onto the counties, which puts it onto the commissioners. And no commissioner wants to do this. No commissioner.
I think it was inevitable that the courts are going to rule that you're going to have to do it. You can't go since 1982. But I will say this. So I inherited all this, right? This was all finished when I came in. But I've been extremely impressed with the process, with Tyler, with the work that Dan and Tony and Sandy did setting this up. I mean, and part of how I think it's been done pretty well is we were anticipating 10 to 12,000 appeals.
Okay.
And we're 50% less than that, probably doing that. So I think the process has been good. I think it's been fair. It's certainly been long and drawn out, and it's been, like Tony said, a 5 or 6 year process we've been going through here. So where we are now, we have the appeals panels there, and people can go through and make their case on when it's too high. But it's not limited to this. People can come back next year.
And I'm sure they will.
Dan
they
constantly tells people that you still have other opportunities down the road.
I think people are fearful that, in 1982, their house was worth whatever. And they're afraid now that it's worth a lot more, and that's going to mean taxes are a lot more. And from the different people I've talked to, not associated with anything within the county, I don't think that's the case as far as the formula that I've heard and how you calculate it.
When you do the math,
and the millage,
it doesn't.
Right.
People do get panicky. When they
I got
see
panicky. I'm
the
sure some of you guys, you're
assessment.
thinking, I can't believe this. How did it go up so much?
It went up
again-
like 7 times
Right.
on average. But the millage is coming way down.
Right, and
way
that's the
down.
key.
That's the key.
The millage coming
But
down.
if you
and-
try to apply the old millage to the new, you'll lose your mind.
Right. And I think probably trying to explain that to people is difficult too, of getting them to understand that. All they see is the numbers of it was, valued at this and now it's valued at this. And
Well, and we've all committed that we're not raising taxes. This is revenue neutral. But that revenue neutral doesn't mean that some people are going to go up and some are going to come down to get that revenue neutral. We're still going to raise the same amount of taxes we did before and after. I know Dan did a good job trying to get out on social media, put the formula out there, trying to get people to understand the process.
Yeah, that was our formula. That was prior to us having the municipality and school districts not locked in. Obviously, they could do what they please. But I think one of the important things, and we explained this to a group who came to our work session a few weeks back, is they see this millage being lowered.
Right.
And they think automatically, well, when the school or a municipality or even a county raise taxes, they're going to raise it by the mills now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because the mill is worth so much, they're going to be raising it by a quarter or a half or an eighth. You're not going to see those, the school district's going to raise it 3.2 mils next year. Well, that's because the mill's worth so much. And they virtually can't, because then they will bankrupt those who can't afford those such
and
increases.
I think some people would be afraid too that say, well, my school district, you don't understand. They raise it every year, so I know they're going to do it. And like, that's not.
I think
how
every school district has
well,
raised
they-
every year.
My
so
school district, too.
That is true.
I'm sure
We all
that's
have-
and that has nothing to do with any of you. So I'm sure if people are angry at you ever, it's misplaced anger of how could you do this to us? And you're thinking, I just got here. I don't even know what.
Well, no,
and these guys didn't promote.
We all
this.
have great empathy for 22% of our population is over 65. There's a lot of people out there,
Right.
That are, their income is capped, Social Security, maybe a little bit of pension, and they're going to get clobbered, especially with the school tax, which is the biggest one that they pay. They're not going to be able to stay in their homes if the taxes go up. Their house is probably paid off but what they're trying to do is manage their tax bills. To make sure they can stay there, and we all have great empathy for that.
And some people are concerned over the 50% versus 100%, but it's inconsequential when you come down to it, because at 100%, it's going to be, in our case, 3.6. But if we would go to 50%, it would be 7.2. Mm-hmm. So it's a wash. Yeah.
Right.
And the other thing I'll say, about making a case for doing this more often, part of the education I got, knowing what we just went through for this one,
Right.
and the costs at the end of the day, $8 million. I don't know, Dan, Tony.
Wow.
Originally was at 6, but I think we're way beyond that.
I think it's like $8 million. You don't want to do this every 5 years. Even every 10 years, maybe.
Now, was that
maybe a
money
stretch.
paid directly to Tyler, or is that spread out for other issues as well, or what's the break? Not that it matters, but what's the breakdown
I
of
would
that?
probably say 90%
Oh,
of the,
wow.
was put to Tyler, 10% was put towards county. There's different things on the technology side. We had to rent some space. We brought some employees in. We are using some of that for salaries, but that was all done by accruing new debt, and it's something we try not to do. But it's court ordered. We fought it till the end, and
And who are the lucky people that get to hear the appeals? Because how would you like to sit in that room for 8 hours a day?
Actually, the volunteers.
Six boards, I think.
We have,
okay.
We have, I think, 5 boards right now. There's always a standing board of 3 people. Most of them have a real estate background. They understand something about millage and house, assessments and value and stuff. And there are 5 groups of 3 people, with
Plus the
somebody
original.
from the assessment office, some legal.
Now, was the original appeal just you mailed something in or called, or what was it in person also, as opposed to when you first got them, people could appeal it, and now this is kind of you got to go and bring some evidence.
Well,
type of appeal.
the first set was with Tyler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who
that
was
with
doing
Tyler.
it. Before Tyler turns
informal.
that
That was
over to
informal.
us and we accept that, there was a process for people, if you had technical issues like well, Tyler said I had a detached garage. That garage isn't there. Or,
Right.
Some material difference in what they were basing the assessment on. Square footage was wrong. Buildings were wrong. Number of bathrooms, rooms were wrong. Something material there. They had a chance to do that. They had a lot of calls through that, and that was done. Then they turn that over to us. Once we get it, then we set up these in-person appeals boards.
When you go in, you have to have comparables, with your property, or an appraisal. That's the best case scenario. If you have an appraisal, and you come in with that, I mean, depending on when the date. If the appraisal is 5 years old, it's not very relative.
Right.
But if it's within a year, it's pretty relative.
So how long is this nightmare going to continue on for you and for the county?
We're estimating these appeals to happen until the end of September. Because we didn't get as many as we thought there would be, it's going to be a little shorter. But I think we all believe, we're going to have a meeting at 11 o'clock today. Every biweekly, we have an update from the assessment office that we'll see this happen next year as well. Once those school taxes hit next summer, next year, the new millage rates, we do believe that we'll start to see those appeals as well. So we're expecting the chaos, let's say, to happen for the next 2 years. But again, as Commissioner Manning and Commissioner Amadeo both said, Tyler Technologies did a good job in the informal appeals. That's why we're not seeing as many formal appeals amongst our boards. I think they started yesterday or the day before. From what I'm understanding, it's running smoothly. There's been no upset residents, property owners coming in. I'm sure we'll see a couple here and there.
Right.
But, our boards are going to work hard, and we're going to get those new values out to them if they see that there's a need to change them. There were many people who got their values changed in the informal process, from what I'm hearing, which is good. That means they took the time to go there, understand the process. So,
do you think the lack of people showing up for an appeal or even making the appeal is because of the age? Because we have an older citizenry and maybe they're just overdaunted by it and think, whatever, I'll just pay whatever they say. Is that a possibility that the age could come into factor for that?
I think our aging demographic, I know Dan got one call and somebody said, you're old, you should appeal. Kind of thing. That's not necessarily my case. I mean, we did the math for some people and their taxes were actually going down after they did that. But I don't know. That could have been a factor. Yeah. I think it's just because it's been since 1982.
Yeah, it's the unknown. It's the unknown factor.
I try to place myself back in 1982. Mm-hmm. I was young. I was younger than Dan is right now. And I think I was in my early 20s. And I got that paper. I had no idea what it meant.
Sure.
All I know is when something's changing, it's never for the good. It's always for the bad. So I try to assimilate that to people today when they get those appraisals and how they feel. I mean, we look at it differently because we've been taught from the very beginning how this is going to work, how it's going to to us. I'm not saying that I'm happy with it. Because
no, but I think it's important that you're here today and you're empathetic towards people when they call you. Everyone's going through it. You're all going through it too.
I brought some numbers just in case somebody call and say, "Hey, what in Brighton Township is my tax going to be?"
Director Eckelberger did a good job. We try to make it as easy as possible. Our courthouse, which we're working on, Commissioner Manning, Commissioner Amadeo, are working on every week to have a little more handicap accessible with parking. We rented space in Rochester to have it easy access. There's informal appeals you didn't have to be there. You could do it by phone or Zoom. So we're hoping that eased a lot of people's thoughts on, being able to speak to Tyler. Now, for the formal appeals, there is statute in place that is law that you either have to be there in person or hire an attorney. And that's not our decision.
To represent you.
If we could, we would let someone come represent you. But it's something that's done on the state level. But they did a good job at hopefully, I don't want to say weeding out those who weren't sure what the process was, and those who couldn't make it by doing it via Zoom or phone. And
we do know that, some of the application process, searching the internet, trying to get comps, all those things, a little bit more difficult, obviously, for some of our seniors than other folks. I'll be interested to see the breakdown of the 57. How many are commercial businesses in industry versus how many are residents? Because I think they really nailed the residential assessments pretty pretty well.
Oh, awesome.
Across.
And
there.
if you're not happy with that, you can always appeal your appeal decision.
Right. Yeah, it's a never-ending process.
There is one step after this. If people want to take it to the judge, they still have that.
Hey, it's Ask the Commissioners. We're going to take a quick break here, but you have Jack Manning, Tony Amadeo, and Dan Camp. I'm Larry Ferrario in for Eddie Crow today. Stick around. We're coming right back after these messages.
Freedom United Federal Credit Union proudly presents the return of Beaver County's #1 buy, sell, and trade show, Yankee Trader. The all-new Yankee Trader is back, and popular show host Diane Brocious will return to host every Saturday morning from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Beaver County Radio. So get ready to buy, sell, and trade every Saturday right here on Beaver County Radio. The Yankee Trader Show is brought to you by your friends at Freedom United Federal Credit Union in Rochester.
Did you know Fisher's New Brighton Foodland is as close as a click? That's right. You can order your groceries right from your home. Click GroceryStoreNewBrighton.com and fill your shopping cart up. It's just that easy. Or stop in to shop for your favorite items. They specialize in fresh meats, hoagies, bakery items, and of course the deli. Pick up a delicious hot meal to go like fried chicken dinners, and don't forget fried fish every Friday. Don't cook, make it a Foodland Day. Visit Fisher's New Brighton Foodland, your one stop to shop for all needs, or click GroceryStoreNewBrighton.com.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Curtis Walsh.
Good morning. We can expect sunny skies today with a high of 84 degrees. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after this look at news. The gunman who stormed a synagogue in the heart of Pittsburgh's Jewish community and killed 11 worshipers will be sentenced to death for perpetrating the deadliest anti-Semitic attack in U.S. history, a jury decided Wednesday. Robert Bowers spewed hatred of Jews and espoused white supremacist beliefs online before methodically planning and carrying out the 2018 massacre at Tree of Life Synagogue, where members of 3 congregations had gathered for Sabbath worship and study. Bowers, a truck driver from suburban Baldwin, also wounded 2 worshipers and 5 responding police officers. The same federal jury that convicted 50-year-old Bowers on 63 criminal counts recommended Wednesday that he be put to death for an attack whose impacts continue to reverberate nearly 5 years later. He showed little reaction as the sentence was announced, briefly acknowledging his legal team and family as he was led from the courtroom. A judge will formally impose the sentence later. Jurors were unanimous in finding that Bowers' attack was motivated by his hatred of Jews and that he chose Tree of Life for its location in one of the largest and most historic Jewish communities in the U.S. They also found that Bowers lacked remorse. Congress responded to the fiery train derailment in East Palestine earlier this year with bipartisan alarm at railroad crashes causing potential disasters. Yet 6 months after life was upended in East Palestine, lawmakers are deadlocked on new safety regulations. A bipartisan group of lawmakers is pushing for new safety regulations on railroads, but they have met hesitance from top GOP leaders in Congress as well as the railroad industry. Longtime East Palestine resident Jamie Wallace says lawmakers would be fools if they don't seize the example of her hometown suffering to pass reforms. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano reports that Aliquippa City Code and Zoning Officer Jim Bologna reported Wednesday night that he got 3 calls asking him if chickens were allowed to be at home within the city limits. He said he told those asking that they are not permitted under the city code. Reports of dumping throughout the city have also surfaced. If anyone sees someone dumping, take a picture of the license plate and turn it into police immediately. City Solicitor Myron Sanovich asked the city to draft an ordinance so that when the gas company or water authority are digging, they don't tear up the paved streets in the city. Between August 1st and August 4th, Subway superfans and sandwich lovers can visit SubwayNameChange.com and enter to win free Subway Deli Heroes for life if they commit to legally changing their name. Subway will select one lucky winner to earn free sandwiches and assume an iconic new identity. Subway will provide the winner with money to reimburse them for legal and processing costs for the name change, making it easy and effortless to become Subway and enjoy a lifetime of delicious subs. Your chances of winning the lottery are extremely slim. After no big winner Tuesday night, the Mega Millions jackpot climbed to an estimated $1.25 billion. If someone wins it all on Friday, when the next Mega Millions drawing takes place, the prize would be one of the largest in U.S. lottery history. But don't plan on entering a new tax bracket anytime soon. The odds of winning a Mega Millions jackpot, no matter the size, stand at about 1 in 302.6 million. And chances of taking home a top prize for Powerball, which had an estimated jackpot of $95 million Wednesday, are near 1 in 292.2 million.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
We can expect sunny skies today with a high near 84 degrees. Partly cloudy tonight going down to a low of 65. Mostly sunny tomorrow with a high of 86. Mostly sunny Saturday with a high near 83. Partly sunny on Sunday with a high of 87. And showers likely with a possible thunderstorm Monday reaching a high of 83 degrees. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Curtis Walsh on 99.3 FM, 95.7 FM, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
The best of Beaver County is easy to discover. It's right here on your radio. Tune in Beaver County Radio or watch the best of Beaver County live on Facebook or YouTube video this and every Thursday from 11 to 11:30. The program is made possible by St. Barnabas. For over 3 years now, the show has been dedicated to shining light on the great things going on right here in your neighborhood and the people that are making it happen. This Thursday, enjoy conversation and insight from an intriguing lineup of guests who are creating excitement and having an impact right here in Beaver County. Your friends and neighbors at St. Barnabas are pleased to support the best of Beaver County. The radio broadcast will also be replayed each week from 11:30 to noon on Sundays on Beaver County Radio. Archived Best of Beaver County videos can be viewed on the WBVP WMBA Facebook page. It's your chance to encounter the best of Beaver County with host Mike Romai this Thursday starting at 11. For more information, visit beavercountyradio.com.
Highmark Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Allegheny Health Network are pleased to present a new show on Beaver County Radio called Heroes. Tune in every Saturday at 10 and Sunday at 12:30 for Heroes, a wonderful half-hour segment hosted by Jim Roddy that profiles many of the local heroes in this community. Click highmark.com for more information and then tune in for Heroes this Saturday at 10 and again Sunday at 12:30 on WBVP, WMBA, and 99.3 FM.
Thanks for tuning in to Beaver County Radio, created by local people in the St. Barnabas studio. 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge.
And welcome back to Teleforum. Ask the Commissioners. Larry Ferrario in for Eddie Crow. We've got all the commissioners in studio today. Jack Manning, Tony Amadeo, and Dan Camp. Welcome back, gentlemen. So we got through the assessments.
Yes.
Well, we talked about it anyway. I don't know if we got through it.
Got any questions?
Any questions? You know, we're getting someone online now, so you might want to get your headphones on and see if we can get them up here. And if not, there's other ways of doing it. If your headphones aren't working, we'll work through that as well. But yeah, feel free to call in 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. Let's go to that first caller. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Hey, good morning. How are you? How are you guys doing?
We're doing well.
I wanted to know if this is just directed at the assessments. Is there other things that these gentlemen will talk about or discuss?
What's on your mind?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's on your mind, sir?
The assessments, how do you guys assess the property or millage going up when, like where I live, there has been nothing moved in my area for 50 years. I mean, there's every little thing here is the same. Nothing's changed.
Well, the amount that we chose, the 3.6 that the county came up with, it's enough to fill the $57.5 million budget that we have. And that's how it's done.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, inherently, the value of property from 1982 to what it is now has clearly gone up. from vacant land to homes to business values. It's just a market value over all that time. So when the millage was set at 26, I think the total value of the 92,000 parcels was $2.2 billion. After Tyler went through their process and turned it over to us, they said the total assessed value is closer to $16 billion, based on the current market value of those 92,000 parcels. And it's just a natural rise in the cost and the value of property. So that's
okay. I live in Hanover Township, Beaver County, and I could probably count on both hands how many new homes, empty parcels have been bought for new home development. Yeah. And I'm on Social Security. My mom is 76, and it's just hard to understand why it seems like we're going to be taxed out of our own homes. When you live on a limited income and everything goes up, Pennsylvania has the highest gas tax other than maybe California in the world or in the United States. And every talk show I listen to, people can't understand why the population is dwindling in Pennsylvania because the taxes are so high. I mean, that's obvious.
Okay. And anything else, caller?
Yes, I did. I have one other thing that I can't get an answer on, and I don't know if this is anything that you guys can answer, but I've never had children, and I do not understand why I am paying school tax.
that I'm going to let them handle it, but that's a whole different ball game. I would imagine there's a lot at play with that. Who wants to take that one?
Well, obviously, we don't have anything to do with, with the school taxes. That's a Harrisburg issue. I'm with you. I do think at a certain age, residents should be exempt from that. The state Supreme Court has ruled that the property tax is unfair in how it funds the schools. There's an inequitable situation there. I think something's going to happen with Harrisburg. They're going to have to. The court's ruled that they have to re-examine that. I don't know what's going to, what the outcome's going to be. But again, they're an independent taxing body that we don't have any control over. So I don't know.
Yeah, and you guys mentioned that school tax is the highest of all the taxes, in this area. And I just could never understand. I've been paying them for 37 years, and I've never had a child. And my mom, I'm the only child, and I've been out of school for 37 years, and she's still paying school tax. And it's just, I called Josh Kale, said discuss it with him. I've left messages. He never returns a call, never has no interest in getting back to me, it seems.
All right, caller. Anything else?
Hey, thank you, gentlemen. Nothing else. I appreciate the time.
All right, thanks for your call.
Thanks for the call.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys get that a lot as far as
yeah, we do.
Property tax.
I mean, let's face it. Having a good school does increase your property values, right?
Right.
The attraction and attention of people usually revolves around your school district and those kinds of things. But I do feel that there is a point of time when your kids have all graduated. You're maybe on a fixed income from a Social Security or a pension thing. That there ought to be some relief for you as a taxpayer.
The budget's the budget,
right.
And if they would do that, which I'd be for, making senior citizens not pay after a certain age, somebody else is going to have to make up the difference to fund that budget. So it's just going to be real.
Yeah, there's not an easy solution.
No,
there isn't. If there would be,
it would have been done a long time ago. Yeah,
I'm sure it would have been resolved by now. But it'll be interesting to see how the legislature handles this issue, because the current state budget, which hasn't been signed off on yet, already has that money. But that the current school funding doesn't address what the Supreme Court has said they need to do to make that more fair and equitable.
So people, if they're thinking, are they thinking along the lines of, I know some states do levies for certain things. Like how would they?
Ohio does it.
Generate, right, Ohio does that. They pretty much vote on everything. Yeah. Their election, we vote yes on this, no on that, yes on this. And I always thought it was humorous watching Ohio of voting on a tax increase for yourself. And, it gets passed a lot of times because a school needs whatever, how much money, and they vote yes. And if they vote no, the school doesn't get it.
Well, we still have the largest full-time state legislative body outside of California in the country. So I'm hoping that those, 153 or 52 folks in Harrisburg can come up with an equitable solution to handle this. We just want them to pass the budget.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least pass the budget for us.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It's an issue because the flow-through money that comes into our budget through behavioral health and human services and the like, and there's a lot of nonprofits and there are a lot of people that are a little shaky right now about how they're in schools on how they're going to make payments if this thing goes into September. So it's a significant issue. The longer these delays go, there's going to be more panic with a lot of our service providers that rely on the stipends and the money from the state, from everything from drug addiction to behavioral health to children and youth services, to juvenile services, to all of these different.
In essence, we're directly connected to them. People say, well, if there's a bad county code, change it. We can't. The county code is passed in Harrisburg. We follow the codes that are passed.
It all trickles down or trickles up, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, a good portion of the money that flows through obviously comes directly from Harrisburg.
Are you gentlemen pleased so far with the job you've seen Josh Shapiro doing? And not to get political at all about anything but overall, what's your assessment so far?
As far as what's happened in Eastern Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, Darlington, yes. I mean, he's doing a great job. He keeps us all in contact. We know what's going on. When we have problems, we get through his agents. We get directly to him. He communicates with all three of us. I mean,
well, I'll just say this, that I've seen Josh Shapiro more in 6 months than I saw Governor Wolf in the 3 years prior to him taking office. So he's been present and he's followed through on everything he told us he was going to follow through.
And I think one of the important things with Governor Shapiro is, again, like you said, you don't want to get political. There's people who will make things political. But as Commissioner Amadeo said, what happened in Western PA and Eastern Ohio, his presence has been outstanding.
Yes.
We might not have seen the last governor. He might have sent the resources, but we might not have seen him. But I think one of the important things is Governor Shapiro understands what we do on a county level, probably understands what they do on a municipal level, and definitely understands what they do in the legislative because he's held those roles. So it's important, I think, that the person who is our highest elected official in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania understands what our counties need. And we see that in CCAP as well. When we go there to advocate for our different priorities throughout the year, he'll be there to listen, I think, because he understands how important state government plays a role in county government.
He's a former Montgomery County commissioner, right? Before he got state legislature.
I served with him.
From afar, I'm impressed with him, and I'm not affiliated with his party at all. But
I was thrilled that he chose Beaver County and Beaver Falls Library to announce the federal government broadband money, and how much he praised the work that we've done when it comes to broadband. So, I don't have any direct criticisms of
he was a leader as a commissioner. So. I mean, he at all our conferences, he was out front with a lot of things. And he was clear from the other side of the state.
Right.
I mean,
I think that's good. I think that's good to know.
He's been very present. And Dan mentioned CCAP, our County Commissioner Association of Pennsylvania. We have a meeting actually coming up this weekend and early next week in Erie. But the governor has attended those. He does listen. He hears what we have to say at the county commissioner level and all these frustrations that Tony talks about with county code and our limits as a fourth-class county to get some things down. And he has great empathy on that. And so far, again,
good.
But
hey,
it's early.
We've got another caller. Let's go to this next caller if you want to get set for that. Dan's having troubles with his.
If you could just repeat their question,
okay,
that would be great.
Okay. Let's see who we've got here. Good morning. Welcome to Teleforum. Ask the commissioners. You're on the air.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm going to ask a quick question. I want to hang up and listen to your answer because you're getting close on time. David Lozier's been on the air a couple times, and I can hear the frustration in his voice of dealing with the juvenile offenders when the police do their due diligence and pick these people up, and there's no place to take them, there's no place to house them. The facilities have been shut down all over the place, and I know that's a hot topic right now, so I'm sure you're doing something to address it, so I'll just hang up and tell us what's going on.
Yeah, as Commissioner Manning mentioned a little earlier, the Board of Commissioners has been approached by the District Attorney, David Lozier, the Chiefs of Police Association, other police officers. This is a growing concern, not only in Beaver County, but the whole region. Earlier this week, we met with a group of 6 to 8 counties in Allegheny County. Allegheny wasn't part of it. They have their own issues to talk about some kind of regional juvenile. Obviously, just like assessment, there's a lot more than just a juvenile detention center. There's interest of justice, there's shelters, there's female, there's male. So it's a growing problem, and we're working on it. There are some counties that are a little further ahead of us. Fayette County's building a new jail, so they have some room in their old jail. Lawrence County has some extra room in their jail. But this is something we are working diligently on, and when we look forward, because we do see an outcome. And going back to the state, we are working with the state, and they are very helpful because they understand the growing concern in Western PA when it comes to the juveniles.
Yeah, temporary housing also is needed.
So it's secured detention shelters and unsecured, right? Ones that are providing services and helping kids get back on the right path. And the interests of justice is ones that have committed a serious crime. So it is. We understand the need. We understand the frustration, especially from the chiefs of police. Their folks are doing their job. They're arresting these kids who are stealing the cars and the like. And if they meet the criteria, there's a rubric that the juvenile services has to go through to see if this warrants detention or not. And a lot of times when it does warrant detention, they call around and they can't find a bed to hold it. The individual, and within 6 hours, if they don't find a bed, they have to release them. Yeah. So then the juveniles are out on the street again. It makes it look like the police aren't doing their job. So I understand the residents' concern. They're beating up the police, saying, "Why aren't you doing your job?" They're trying to do the job, but the system is constrained right now because of this lack of beds. So we've weighed our options. We're looking to see where we can do it. I think there's some good solutions that within a few months we'll have to be able to have some beds secured. But it's not unique to Beaver County. As Dan said, there were 8 different counties that were in that meeting with us a couple of days ago downtown. So everybody understands it's a regional issue. We're 50 to 60 beds short of what we probably need.
Do you think this is more of an issue of there's more crime from juveniles, or they've shut facilities down to house these individuals that are doing these crimes?
The Chiefs of Police Association said it best. It's called catch and release.
Okay.
These individuals know that there is no consequences for their actions, obviously, unless it's a major, a serious issue. But these minor issues that 20, 25 years ago, if you would have done something like that, you would have been in Allen Crest, or you would have been put in a shelter. As Commissioner Manning said, it's not just an issue of, they have the authority to hold an individual for 6 hours until they could find a place. If they don't find that place, then they have to release them. But what the issue is, just this past weekend, I received a call from one of the mayors who had an individual who was running through town causing issues. They stopped and arrested the individual. They had no place. They called. There's no place for him, so they released him. They didn't hold him up to 6 hours because that municipality only had one police officer on duty. If they held him for 6 hours, they would have to stay at the station for 6 hours and not be able to patrol that municipality. So, and the individual got out and was raising more issues. So it's a growing concern, especially in the southern area of our county.
I think one of the issues, and not to blame the internet and social media, but I think one thing that has changed is TikTok, this game of stealing certain cars and showing people how to steal cars, because they're stealing these cars, joyriding in them, and then crashing them.
Right.
There's no material gain other than the thrill, I guess, of stealing a car, seeing how many you can, posting stuff online. And I think that's the big difference from maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago with juvenile activity.
They're not stealing them to chop them up for pieces.
No,
they're playing with them and
joyriding.
That's it. They're just joyriding. And what they don't understand and appreciate that I think we do. There's a cost to society. You steal a single mom's car that does her only means of transportation, getting her kids to school, getting to her job, and now she has to go through insurance if she in the process of trying to replace her car. I mean, there's a tremendous cost to society, and it angers me that we can't find a solution for both of those, and we can't find some means to hold some people accountable for that cost to that individual, for that joyride and that couple of hour thrill that they have.
And we can't put them in our jails.
Right.
We have to keep them segregated. They can't have any contact.
Wow. Hey, you're listening to Teleforum, Ask the Commissioners. We're going to take a quick break here. We'll come back in just a moment.
In Beaver County, there are many great stories to tell. One such worthy story is that of the Drug-Free Community Support Program. Now in its 4th year of serving Aliquippa, the project has enjoyed great success through in-school interaction, education, raising awareness, and data analysis. The Drug-Free Community Support Program in Aliquippa has a mission to help local youth make better decisions regarding alcohol and drug use. For more information or to find out how you can get involved, visit Drug Free Aliquippa on Facebook.
Town Square Restaurant on Main Street in Beaver has delicious food for the whole family. Town Square Restaurant is known for their homemade pies. Town Square Restaurant is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. They have daily lunch and dinner specials. Takeouts available. Town Square Restaurant is serving great tasting quality food at even better prices. That's Town Square Restaurant on Main Street in Beaver.
Tune in to Live Mike with Mike Romai, presented by Heritage Valley Health System. Weekdays from 6:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's an all-new show on Beaver County Radio, where Mike discusses the issues important to Beaver County.
Urinated at a car wash in front of children. Oh, yeah. And police officers.
I think it's the end of society as we know. I think it's one of the signs of the apocalypse.
There's also special guests, weather, sports with Matt Durzik, and news every half hour with Curtis Walsh. So tune in to Live Mike with Mike Romai, weekdays, right here on Beaver County Radio.
And welcome back to Teleforum. Larry Ferrario in for the vacationing Eddie Crow. We are Ask the Commissioners show today. We have Jack Manning, Tony Amadeo, and Dan Camp. Gentlemen, we have a few minutes left. Anything you would like to bring up, or any parting shots, or anything updated on Norfolk Southern? I know that's a topic every day, and they've been around. They've been paying for carnival rides, and they've given, I know, what, $660,000 Darlington, and $330,000, I think, to Lawrence County.
Yeah, we haven't chosen to go a legal lawsuit route. We're kind of following the lead of the governor's office as well from that. But as long as we're continuing to talk, and they're in constant contact with us, as long as they're continuing to come forward with compensating Darlington and the surrounding areas. New Galilee was there Saturday at the festival they had, and Norfolk Southern was there. Actually, their CEO, Shaw, was there, and some other folks. As long as they're continuing to try and do that, we'll keep working with them and pressing them to keep doing more.
It's called keeping their feet to the fire.
Yeah. Yes,
We
absolutely.
have to continue to do that. And I just want to comment on the station. I've been doing this 16 years, coming on the radio. I don't have to climb 27 steps any longer.
They wouldn't do it to you at St. Barnabas.
Yeah, they'll have room for you there.
Right. This place is incredible.
Yeah, it really is. And the equipment alone, as a fill-in guy, I'm still learning the equipment and click this, oops, knock that out, got to run down the hall and get someone. But what a difference. Right. And, all to St. Barnabas, they spare no expense as far as making sure you get what you need, you get it the right way, and how it's supposed to be done. So, and they're just starting. So,
and I go back as an athletic director in the '90s, setting up the radio shows at the stadium, and I remember what that equipment looked like, and how we had to put it together.
Well, there was still a lot of that equipment in the Beaver Falls station that we used.
Yes. I know.
So fun times with all of that.
It's a pleasure coming here.
It's not in. We can fit 3 people in here comfortably. And,
I know.
Yeah. In the old days, maybe not so much, but that's progress. That's a good progress. So, and we thank all 3 of you for being here today too. So, the other question I had the turnpike, of what's going on around the Beaver Falls exit. Any updates on anything? I had someone ask me off air of like, could you ask them what's going on?
We don't get much communication from the turnpike.
No.
I know it's a $272 million project.
Are you talking about the turnpike or the development?
The turnpike
around?
at Beaver Falls, exit 13.
That exit on.
Oh, the exit.
Yeah, so all that ramp work and stuff is supposed to be completed by the end of 2026.
Oh, okay.
It's a ways away. Only because I live pretty close to that. I go that way all the time. So it's a $272 million, I believe, project to improve the on-ramps, off-ramps there, and replace the bridge.
So when they replace that bridge,
exit 13.
Is there going to be a shutdown of that area of the turnpike, or we're not sure yet?
Those are details that
I would imagine they would have to.
I haven't had.
It's a big drop there.
That is a big drop.
But it's going to be quite a clover leaf there, I think, when they're all said and done. And anybody that's tried to get on the turnpike there, heading to Cranberry, that acceleration ramp is like way too short, and the people coming from Ohio.
Oh, no, that's an issue.
It's a challenge to merge some there.
Yeah.
And I know at certain rush hour times it gets backed up pretty far. So they're trying to alleviate that, and that's about.
So 2026, you're saying? Maybe, possibly.
That's the estimated end of 2026.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a major project for sure.
It is. It's an important stretch of infrastructure here in Beaver County for sure.
Well, we need that. That's the type of infrastructure we need updated, and
roads and bridges.
Roads and bridges. I mean, that's key.
We've got enough.
Definitely with it
to keep us busy.
Yeah. Well, the bridge in Koppel that they did a really nice job on that.
They did.
So no, when you're going toward Elwood City, no complaints with that one.
And we're trying to get on the tip for the next couple of years, some kind of a plan to replace the Ambridge-Aliquippa Bridge, which will turn 100 next year.
Wow.
And we know eventually that's going to have to be replaced, but that's probably
all right, guys. We got to wrap this up today. I want to thank Jack Manning, Tony Amadeo, and Dan Camp.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank
Thanks
you
very
so
much.
You're listening to 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge.